Hello everybody, my name is Elena. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about all of the books that I read in the month of February. I just would like to say, I hate saying that word, clearly, because I can't pronounce it. As a non-native English speaker, why did you make that word so hard to pronounce? Because my tongue gets all twisted up when I try to say it. Like, make it make sense. I read quite a lot of books in February. However, not a lot of them were from my TBR, which is not shocking to me because I'm a mood reader. If I'm in the mood for it, I'll read it. If I'm not, there's no chance. The only time I've ever finished, like, my whole TBR was actually in January of this year. So if you want to go watch that wrap up, you can. I will link it. However, this month wasn't as successful because, you know, you win some, you lose some. It's just the way life is. I read 17 books this month, which is a lot. However, a lot of them also were manga. And I feel like I have to say that because some people actually don't count manga as, like, books. Makes no sense. I'm so sorry. Like, there's something wrong with you if you think that reading manga is not reading books just because it has, like, pictures in it. Like, yeah, it's drawn on, it's manga, it's still a book. I'm sorry, I'm getting heated. I read 17 books. The average rating was 3.69, which is significantly lower than last month's. I don't remember what it was, but I read so many good books in January, and February was just kind of not it. Like, there's some questionable choices made by me as well, actually. I was kind of the culprit of it. I was probably the culprit for all of it. I was going to say some of it's my fault, but no, it's probably all of it is my fault, and then it's also Rina Kent's fault. The first book that I actually finished in February, because I had started it, like, late January, is The Reaper by Runix. This is a reread for me. I love the series, and I decided to listen to the audiobook. I still gave it 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars when I first read it. I am giving it 5 stars now. It's just such a good book, and I thought I remembered everything about it. Turns out I didn't remember everything, so I'm so glad I reread it. It's just, oh, that book, I love that series. Tristan and Marana are my favorite couple, which is the couple from, like, the first and second book. So I really enjoyed this reread. I don't know if I'm gonna reread the other books or listen to the audiobooks of the other books. But I really enjoyed my time with it, and if you're thinking of picking it up and you're kind of not sure, or if you're not picking it up because it's not finished yet, it's actually supposed to release, like, the last book, The Syndicator. Is it The Syndicator? I think so. I think it's supposed to release in 2024, like this year, but it's gonna live release. So we don't know when it's gonna be released. She's just gonna drop it one random day, and I'm honestly really excited. It's gonna throw me for a loop when it happens, but I'm so excited. And then, like everyone and their mother, I read House of Flame and Shadow this month because that was one of my most anticipated releases of 2024. And listen, I know a lot of people didn't like this book. I know. I loved it. I give it 4.75 stars. This is the 3rd book in the Crescent City series. I literally can't tell you what it's about because it spoils literally the entire series. Like, it spoils so much, so I can't tell you what it's about. However, I adored this book, okay? Did I have some gripes with the things that Bryce said at some points? Yes. However, I still adore her, and I would just like to say that I think a lot of the reviews, not all of them, obviously not all of them, but a lot of the reviews where people say, like, oh, I didn't like the book, is because they were expecting something else. And I can't get specific about it, but it really gets on my nerves when it's that reason, because it literally doesn't make sense because it's a Crescent City book. If you know, you know. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. I loved it. I gave it 4.75 stars. Some POVs, like, just didn't do it for me. Also because I don't adore those characters, so I obviously, like, didn't adore those POVs either. But they were still fun. It was actually really funny. Like, this one character made, like, so many bad decisions one after another. And it wasn't, like, he tried his hardest to, like, make all the right decisions and kept fucking up. It was actually, like, really funny. But yeah, I loved this book. I loved everything about it. It perfectly met my expectations. I knew what to expect from it, which is why I wasn't disappointed. I'm looking directly at some of y'all. And yeah, I just enjoyed my time with it, and I'm so excited. And I also didn't expect it to end off Bryson Hunt's story, which it did. So when the next book's release, I'm guessing it's gonna, like, follow a different couple. However, I did hear it's gonna be a long time before another Crescent City book like releases, which is fine, and I think it makes sense that it's like done that way. So overall, I really loved this book. And that's all I have to say about it. And then because I was on my little fantasy kick, I was like, okay, let's bang out another like series that I've been wanting to finish. And that is the Prison Healer trilogy by Lynette Noni. I have the first 2 books right here. The first one is The Prison Healer, the second one is The Gilded Cage. I gave both of these 5 stars, and I was like, okay, well, I haven't read The Blood Traitor, so let's read that and then finish off the series. Because I hate having series that aren't finished. So I was like, okay, let's do it. You're in the mood. Just read it. If you had pointed a gun at my head and said, you have to predict the rating that you're going to give The Blood Traitor by Lynette Noni with 100% accuracy, I would have yelled 5 stars with my whole chest. And guess what? I would have been dead on the fucking floor with like a bullet wound in my head. Why? Because it was nowhere near 5 stars, and I'm so upset about it. I literally haven't gotten over it yet. Because I gave these 2 books 5 stars. I adore these books. And then for some reason, when I went into this one, it was like, it's like the characters weren't the characters from the first 2 books. And it was like, oh my god, I can't explain it. I literally can't explain it. It's like the series completely like twisted, and it was like on its head, like upside down. I don't know. It's just, oh. The thing is, these 2 books start off pretty slow, and then it kind of gets into the plot or whatever. Didn't mind it, obviously, because I gave it 5 stars. This one, I read in 2 days. I'm gonna be honest, the only character I really cared about in The Blood Traitor was Kaldin, because that boy carried the series on his fucking back, okay? Especially the 3rd book. When he wasn't on the page, I was like, I'm bored. Like, and it's not, listen, I did read these last year and then take a big break, but I went through all of my annotations in here, and I have a lot of annotations in here, and all of my highlighted parts and what I've written down. I was fully up to date with everything, and I still didn't enjoy it. So it's not like I was the reason. And I was so disappointed. I gave it 3.75 stars. Like, the ending kind of made up for it, I guess, because there was still like a bit of plot twists like going on, because these books are really heavy on the plot twist. That's like one thing I really love about them. They come out of left field and they're so good. I obviously didn't expect there to be a lot of plot twists in the last one because it's the last book. Like, what are you plot twisting about? The fact that they're gonna end up together? Yeah, we know. But like, there was still some plot twist in there, which I really enjoyed. And it did bump it up, like, because I was gonna give it 3.5 stars and then it bumped it up to 3.75. And then another thing happened, like, right in the climax. Turns out it didn't happen. It was just like a gotcha. But I hated it. I almost like didn't finish the book because I absolutely hated it because it didn't make sense. And I mean, it makes sense that it didn't make sense because it didn't actually happen. This is so cryptic. I'm sorry. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Kaldin carried the series on his back, and I still highly recommend the series if you want to read it. I just really didn't like the 3rd book that much. Oh, but also, I would like to say I still enjoyed it. 3.75 stars is not a bad rating. I just was so disappointed because I thought it would be 5 stars because these 2 were. Okay? You can't blame me. If you want to read the series, go ahead and read it. It's really good. Just lower your expectations when you go into the 3rd book, because I didn't have a very good experience with it. However, you also might like it, actually. If you lower your expectations, I feel like you will. So still go ahead and read this series if it sounds like something that you want to read. This next book, I don't know what possessed me to read this. I really don't, because I read God of Malice by Rena Kent. I didn't think I would ever be reading Rena Kent, and yet I read God of Malice. In fact, I have a whole reading vlog on it that I posted on Valentine's Day, of all days. But you can go watch that if you're interested. Spoiler alert, I did not like it, but because I shared a lot of my thoughts in that video, I'm not going to spend too much time on it here. I gave it 2.5 stars. Yeah, no, I didn't like it. No. Killian gave me the heebie-jeebies. Like, that man scares me, and I would understand how other people would find him hot. I understand, as someone who has previously read a lot of Wattpad in her youth, well, in her younger youth. I'm 21. But, like, I get it. It's just not for me. And I absolutely hated him. And also, like, the female main character kind of annoyed me a little bit near the end. Like, Yeah, I just didn't really like it. However, I was really enamored by the whole, like, schools and stuff like that. Like, the whole vibe of the books, that I really liked. So, obviously, I continued reading the series. We'll get to that in a second. So then I read God of Pain, and I was expecting to like this one more than God of Malice, and I did, like, a full, like, star difference, because I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked it. It was fine. It was entertaining. I just think, was Grayson the guy? No, Clayton? Listen, I don't even remember his name, and I read this book a month ago. That should tell you something. But I just felt like he was a bit dry, and I understand that's, like, his personality. I get it, but it's just not my thing. I really loved Annika, though. Like, I'd die for her. Like, I love that. So, I don't know. It was fun. It was great. I read it in a day like I was expecting to, because I feel like you can't read Rina Kent books for more than 2 days. Like, 2 days max. Because otherwise I feel like you lose interest in them, so you're not going to pick them up again. So I feel like they're bingeable. And then I finished listening to The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. This is the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series. I'm pretty sure you know. I don't know why I'm explaining this to you. Everyone and their mother has read this, and I haven't. This one was my favorite out of the books that I've read so far. I really liked this. I cried multiple times. I loved listening to the audiobook. Also, it's, like, really short, so I think I listened to it in 1 sitting. Or maybe it was 2, actually. No, it wasn't 1 sitting. However, really quick. It was, like, 2 Sims, like, playing sessions, and then I was done. I really liked it. Like I said, I cried a lot in this book. It elevated the characters a lot, I feel like, in here. And I felt like they were just the tiniest bit more mature. And that's not something that I'm essentially looking for in this series, because it is a middle grade. But it was nice to see, and it was so fun. There were so many parts of it that I liked. I gave this 4.5 stars. Really liked this. Again, it's my favorite out of the series, and I'm really enjoying my time with it. And then when I finished that, I was like, okay, I was in this, like, slump, but not really a slump, because all I wanted to do was read Rina Kent. But I hated that I wanted to read Rina Kent. Like, I wasn't happy about the fact that I wanted to read all of her books, if you understand that feeling at all. So I read God of Wrath. I was actually really excited about God of Wrath. Why? Because I love Jeremy Volkov. Listen, he is probably my most controversial book crush. However, I can't change the way I feel. And I love Jeremy Volkov, and this book did not disappoint me. First of all, I loved Cecily, because, 1, she's a psychology student. Same. But, like, I loved everything about her. I loved her personality. And then, obviously, I love Jeremy Volkov. So, that was, I think, the first time where I liked both of the main characters. And then, when they were a couple, they were, like, perfect. Like, they just fit in so well. I liked the storyline. I mostly liked all of it. Obviously, I didn't adore it because I didn't give it, like, 5 stars. Like, there's no way. But I still really liked it. And it's my favorite out of like, the series. And I gave it 4 stars. 4 stars. For Rina Kent, I never thought I'd be saying this. Like, the books that Rina Kent writes aren't my vibe. They're not the kind of dark romance that I read. So it was shocking to me when I gave one of her books 4 stars. And then another book that everyone was reading this month, because it released in February, Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This was another one of my most anticipated releases of this year, and it did not disappoint me. No, it didn't. I gave this 4.25 stars. I'm honestly thinking of bumping it up to 4.5 because I have not stopped thinking about this book since I read it. When I read it, I was like, yeah, it was good, 4.25 stars. I haven't been able to stop thinking about these characters and the storyline and all of the quotes in this. Look at the tabs, please. I adored this. Listen, I love Ali Hazelwood with all of my heart. And when people say, oh, all of her books are the same, firstly, I don't really agree. Second of all, I will read anything that she writes. She's like an auto-buy author for me. I loved this. I adored this. This is like her first paranormal romance. It's about a werewolf and a vampire, and then they need to get married. So it's like a marriage of convenience because these 2 clans need to like have peace. So they're like, okay, let's have like a marriage between our 2 people, and then it will be fine. And then a lot of things are not fine, but the romance in this slayed. This is like a kind of an introduction to Omegaverse. Don't ask me what it is, just Google it, okay? I cannot be explaining this to you. there's some things that you need to figure out yourself, and that is one of them. Just Google it if you're interested. But I love this because I'm no stranger to Omegaverse, but this just hit the spot, okay? I love this. Go read it if you haven't. Like, honestly, if you like at least one of Ali Hazelwood's books, which is probably Love Theoretically because that's her best one, you should probably pick this up because this one's a bit different than all of her other ones, and I think the writing is really elevated in this one. I loved reading it. There were so many good quotes in this. And then I got into my manga era. I have like periods of time where all I want to do is read manga. I'm currently in that period of time in my life, which is kind of bad because I do have a TBR and it's not manga. However, all I want to do is read manga. So I was like, okay, what do I read? Like, which one do I pick up? And then I watched Bella from Throne of Pages open like book mail, I think it was a part of a vlog, and someone gifted her Kaiju number 8. I'm gonna hold up the second volume because I don't have the first one. They didn't have it in my country. They never have the first volumes. I don't know why I was shocked. It's Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto. This is so good. The second that I read the first volume, I was like, I'm in love with the characters, I'm in love with the storyline, I cannot wait to read more. So the next day, I literally went and bought volume 2 and volume 3, and then I read them, and I love them. And then I proceeded to read every other volume that's out right now, and there's 10 of them. So yeah, I love this series. I don't rate manga the way that I rate normal books. I also don't share my ratings for the manga. I just really enjoyed it, okay? Really fun. I feel like if you like Attack on Titan, and kind of Attack on Titan, if you like the kind of the inner workings of like this force that needs to protect the people, and then if you like JJK for the modern setting of it, Kaiju number 8. I'm gonna read you the back of it because I don't know how to explain this coherently. So we're gonna read this together. With the highest kaiju emergency rates in the world, Japan is no stranger to attacks by deadly monsters. Enter the Japan Defense Force, a military organization tasked with the neutralization of kaiju. Kafka Hibino, our main character, a kaiju corpse cleanup man, has always dreamed of joining the force. But when he gets another shot at achieving his childhood dream, he undergoes an unexpected transformation. How can he fight kaiju now that he's become one himself? That's all I'm gonna say. It's really good. It's also really funny. Like, the humor in this is top tier. Like, I keep laughing when I read these. The art is also beautiful. Like, I really like the art. Like, I'm trying to find, like, a good page to show you. Like, it's just super clean and nice, and I love it. Okay, I love it. So go read it if you haven't and you're into manga and you think you're gonna like this. I highly recommend. And then I went back to Rina Kent and I read God of Ruin, and I was dreading reading this book because I do not like Landon. Landon is the main guy in the series, in the book. God forbid he's the main guy of the series. He's the main guy of the book. I hate him. Okay, I hate him more than Killian, which was kind of unexpected for me. I thought the hate would be like at the same level. No. Because, okay, both Killian and Landon are psychopaths. However, it was believable that Killian was a psychopath because I was scared of him. I was like, I would go nowhere near Killian. Landon is like a toddler, but in a grown-up's body, like in a teenager's body. And then he's just pissy about everything. And there is nothing scary about that. I just want to punch him in the face. Like, he's so annoying. Also didn't like the main girl. I really did in like the previous books when she showed up. Not now. No. The book somehow made me hate her too. And I gave this book 1.5 stars. Yeah, it was worse than God of Malice for me. I cannot explain to you how bad I found this book. And the only reason why I read it is because I really wanted to get to God of Fury. And guess what? Guess what happened when I started reading God of Fury? I DNF'd it. I literally couldn't get through it. The amount of times that Nikolai said the word fuck in one chapter is entirely too much for a single book, I feel like. Because at one point he said the sentence, what the fuck your fucking fuck? I think that was the sentence. Why do you talk like that? Like, do you not know any other words besides that word? It was just really annoying, and I couldn't get into the story. the first 2 chapters had me hooked, had me by the throat. The rest, I hated it. So I DNF'd it. I don't even know at what percent I DNF'd it at. Just know it was kind of in the beginning because I literally couldn't get past the way that Nikolai talks in his chapters. Which is upsetting because I actually really liked Nikolai. Turns out I only like him when I'm not in his head. Great. Wonderful. And that's kind of like, that started a little downhill kind of journey for me. Because then my friend listened to this audiobook called Love at First Sight by Cara Bastone. Sarah Bastone, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the first name. She loved it. She gave it 4.75 stars. And I didn't, because I didn't love it that much. I gave it 3.25 stars. Listen, it was fine. It was. It's just the humor in it, not my thing. Like, I feel like it was a bit overdone in a lot of places. And it's like a really short audiobook. It's like 4 hours. And I don't know. I really didn't like it. It was a bit too much for me. Like, it was trying to be quirky and I just wasn't vibing with it. The friend that read it also really loves that one book by Lynn Painter, Better Than the Movies. So I feel like if you like Better Than the Movies, you will like this one. And if you're looking for a short audiobook you can listen to, definitely go for it. Like, the writing was fine. I just really didn't vibe with it. But it was still fine, so I did give it 3.25 stars. Like, some parts were funny, and then they took, I feel like, the jokes too far sometimes, and it was kind of losing, like, the humor, at least for me. She loved it, obviously, so if you want to go ahead and try it, try it. It was in no ways a bad book, I just didn't enjoy it. And then I was like, okay, I need another audiobook, because at that time I was actually building something in The Sims, and I need to be listening to an audiobook when I'm building something, so I was like, I need an audiobook. And then I decided to read something that's been on my TBR for a really long time, and that is A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. Worst decision of my life. I hated this. I hated it. I gave it 2.75 stars. It's not that bad of a rating, but the characters did not make sense together. Oh my god, they had no chemistry. They were so annoying, both of them. They were making problems out of nothing. I didn't like the conflict. Some parts, I guess, were kind of humorous. That's why it has, like, kind of a higher rating. I just really didn't like it. And I thought at least the fact that the male main character has 2 other brothers was gonna make me happy, because I love familial dynamics in books. I love siblings in books, whatever, cousins, what have you. And then I didn't feel the vibes with them either. And it was just disappointment after disappointment. Like, Rena Kent really said, you're gonna have a horrible month after you read my books. And I did. I really did. So, no, I didn't enjoy this. I mean, if you want to read it, go ahead. Like, I don't know. But I just really didn't like it. Wasn't for me, which is upsetting because I thought I would really like it because it's marriage of convenience and I love that kind of trope and I love, like, the fake dating trope, whatever. No. No. And then because I was on my manga kick, I decided to actually read something from my physical TBR, and that is Wotakoi Volume 3 by Fujita. I love this series. I've talked about the other 2 books in previous videos. This has 6 volumes. Like, it's like a shorter manga because it has only 6 of them. And I think the 6th one is like half the size of this because these ones have like 2 volumes in each one. So the 3rd one has volume 5 and 6. Not me doing math. 5 and 6. I really like this series. It's just like a feel-good, like, a manga series. It's slice of life. It's actually, the full title is Wotakoi Love is Hard for Otaku, because the main premise is this girl, I completely forgot her name. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting their names and then I remember them when I pick up another volume. This main girl with pink hair, this girl right here, Narumi. I just remembered her name. Narumi is an otaku, which means she's like basically really geeky. She loves cosplaying and, well, actually she's not the one that likes cosplaying. She just gets into it in this volume. She likes video games and collecting manga and stuff like that. And she doesn't want people to know at her work. And then she figures out that there's other otakus in her workplace. And then it's like this friend group and then they all pair off and they're like couples. And I love this. If you want serotonin, read this. The second that I open this, I feel my energy levels rising. I feel happier. It's like I've eaten a piece of chocolate. That's what this feels like. So please go read it if it's something that you think you'll like. It's so easy to read. It's so refreshing. I love it. And it's funny as well. And the art is cute and the couples are really cute. And I love this series and I can't wait to continue. This next one came out of left field. Like I said, I was building something in The Sims. So guess what? I needed another audiobook. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to Book Lovers by Emily Henry. That's the only book by Emily Henry out of her like recent ones that I haven't read. So I decided to listen to it. I give it 4.5 stars. It is my second favorite Emily Henry book. My favorite is People We Meet on Vacation. I know that's controversial, okay, I get it, but that one's my favorite. I give it 4.75 stars. This one also blew me away. It was so good. Like, the writing was really good. The setting was great. The chemistry between the characters was there immediately. That's one thing Emily Henry does really well, because her banter between the characters is so good. It feels so believable. It's very charismatic. They, like, fit in perfectly with each other. And it makes it believable in your head that they would be dating because they work so well together. I loved it. I loved the conversations that we were having because Emily Henry kind of borders on women's fiction. I hate that title, by the way. Like, whatever. That's a story for a different video. It reads more like women's fiction or literary fiction, but it's still a romance. And it talks about certain things, and I just loved it. I loved the writing. The conflict wasn't that unbelievable as well. It was just really good. And I cried at one point. I was eating and I was crying. I was like, wow, this is so good. So guess what? Now I'm going to have to, at some point when it's on sale, buy the book and then reread it so I can annotate it. Great. Just another book to add to my shelf, as if it has like unlimited shelf space. It doesn't. But it must be done. And then I decided to end off my month with another audiobook. I'm really into audiobooks right now, okay? Because I'm doing other things while I'm listening to the audiobooks and it's really helping. I decided to finish another series, and that is oh, I actually don't remember what the series is called, but it's like by Elle Kennedy. So the first book is Misfit, and the second book is called Rogue. I listened to Rogue on audiobook. I really liked Misfit. I think I talked about it in a different video. Don't remember which one, but I really liked it. I gave it like 4 stars or 4.25 stars. I don't remember what I gave it, but I really liked it. And then I read Rogue and I was really excited about it because I was really excited about the characters. And then it felt like the characters were completely different again. I hated all of them, or almost all of them. You know who I didn't hate? Lawson. Y'all don't deserve Lawson because people are so mean to him. How do you see a person that's very obviously struggling with something and then you're like, actually, you're a bitch? What? Like, I just don't understand. How do you ignore that? Whatever. I love Lawson. He carried the book for me. And I mean, the storyline was fine. Like, it's a really addicting book to read. So it's not like you can stop after you start it, but it wasn't like something crazy. I gave it 3.75 stars. Like, it didn't wow me, but it was still like entertaining. I mean, the 0.75 is for Lawson. I'm gonna be completely honest because he had my heart in this book. He's very present in this one, and I loved every part of it. He's just such an interesting character to read about. In the first book, he's really unhinged, and you're like, oh my god, he's crazy. And in the second book, you get like a kind of like a different side to him, and then you see how badly his friends treat him. I will never be able to forgive them. I'm sorry. And that concludes the 17 books that I read in February. Like I said, I had a great reading month in terms of how many books I read. However, not a great reading month with like the ratings and stuff. Like, I didn't love a lot of the books that I read. Still, I had fun, obviously, because I read a lot. And now all I want to do is read manga, which I probably will right after I study, because I do have to study because classes from college started again. Anyways, you don't care. That is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you'd like, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.